back to another video. On this video, I'm going to be attempting to install this bathroom window here. This might be a little bit of a challenge now that it has been completed. The only reason why I'm doing it later rather than before the shiplap was installed was because I ordered the windows and I didn't think that they were coming back in the valley when we were making the move up here. But about a week or so later, after we installed the shiplap, they ended up getting delivered. So now I'm going to have to cut through the 2x4s, cut through all this stuff, and let's see if we can get this installed. I hope it's an easy one, but it might not be. But anyways, let's try it. All right, I am back with the tape measure. So I'm going to see if this was actually cut down or not, because I don't remember, to be honest with you. I've done so many cuts in this place that I just couldn't call. I couldn't call it. All right, we are looking at 'it looks about 48. Well, it's probably about 47 and a half. So that's a little tight. 47 and a half divided by 2. That's going to be 23 and a quarter. So 23 and a quarter is going to be my middle marking. 23 and a quarter. 23. That's not even right. 23 and a quarter. Is it? 23 and a quarter plus 23 and a quarter. That's 6. My math is terrible, so don't judge. All right, 47 and a half. That is going to be 3 and a quarter. 23 and a quarter. All right, 23 and a quarter it is. That's the halfway mark. 23 and a quarter. So 23 and 1/4. That is going to be right here. 23 and a quarter. 23 and a quarter is half of 47. 47 and a half. 23 and a quarter. No, that'll be 26 and a half. Hold on. I got to do my math. My math is really, really bad. I should just pull out my phone, but it's recording. All right. But anyway, I'm going to make my halfway mark. Get this window up. I'm going to mark the outside of it. And then I'm going to get to cutting this thing. So let's get up here. Get my tape measure. So, all right, I figured out the math. It is 23 3/4. 23 3/4 will be 47 and a half. 23 3/4. Leave it down in the comments if that's correct. I believe it is, actually. I just did it in my head real quick. 23 3/4, so that'll be 23. That's 26. 26 or 23 and a half would be 47. And then a quarter each. So that's going to be 23 3/4 will be the halfway point. All right, 23 3/4. That's what we're going with. 23 3/4 is right there. That's my big mark. That's the halfway point. Took me long enough. Don't give me too much crap because I'm a dropout, as you guys could probably tell. Anyway, let's do it. All right, halfway point is right there. I want to bring this thing to right there. All right, is it leveled? It is now leveled. Right there is level. I might have to get a little bit higher. All right, just so I can see my markings. All right, that's 23 and a half, or 23 and 3/4 I'm at. I just got to make sure that this is sitting right where I want it. All right, halfway mark is right there. And that's looking straight. I just got to make sure it's leveled now. All right, are we leveled? No, we're not. We're way off. So let me go ahead and bring her down to level. That right there is showing level. So now I can go ahead and do my markings. Oh, and then I moved it. That is terrible. Luckily, I already have the one line to work with. All right, I got the one line to work with. That should be enough. My center line, that is looking on center. Right there. Level it out. Right there. All right, get this marking before I move. All right. I moved it again, but now I can go off of 2 of these markings, and that's going to make it very easy for me. Once again, got to make sure she's nice and level. Make sure the markings are right. All right. We're looking good. That marking right there. We'll pull this level off. And I'm going to do the top marking. And that is my marking right there. Boom. That is it. It's very rough, but I have about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of leeway that I could work with. So now that that's done, I guess that was the most tedious part. And I'm going to get to cutting out the shiplap. I'm going to straighten out these lines a bit, just so, or at least this top one somewhat, and the side ones might as well. I could just whip out a measuring tape and get it all absolutely precise, which I still might do. But first things first, I'm going to try to straighten out some of these lines. These lines are pretty terrible. All right, right there is looking good. There we go, this line. And then I'm going to measure the top and the bottom just to make sure that the width is correct and the height is correct. Because the last thing I want is to overcut and have a gaping hole where my window is going to be. So I'm going to go with that right there. All right, that looks much more square. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of measurements and I'll be right back. I'll try to find you guys a better view also. All right, I got her all squared up, leveled, everything's perfect. You can go ahead and run the jigsaw. I've already drilled holes in all 4 corners for the jigsaw. So pretty sure there's a 2x4 in here somewhere. I believe right here actually. And that might be it. So I'm going to run this jigsaw and let's get this cut. Need a little bit more cord. Here we go, jigsaw, here we go. Okay, that's the 2x4. Pulled out the blade, so I got to get this thing stuck back in. But Oh, there goes a level. Bye-bye, level. All right. Pull this in. Get this blade back in. I'm hoping that I can cut that 2x4 with this. If not, I'm going to have to pull out some big guns. But I actually put that in backwards. I'm going to have to pull out with another tool if this doesn't cut through the 2x4. But I am prepared. That's my 2x4. Go ahead and cut this side. All right, well, as much as I can get with the jigsaw. I'm gonna cut the rest out with the rotary or the oscillating tool. If it works, that thing has actually been giving me a lot of trouble lately, so it should at least cut through. I'm gonna need it to cut through the 2x4s, obviously, but I need it to get this shiplap off. So let me go ahead and cut through the shiplap. And then we can pull out the square, and then we'll be good. Well, now we have access to it. It's going to make life pretty easy. Now, I got to get this 2x4 cut out. I think I'm just going to use the oscillating tool, cut off the bottom. I could rip that out, and then I'll move that insulation out of the way. But let's get to it. Alright, so this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. I'm going to put you guys on pause, and we'll come back when this thing is cut, because this is going to take a while, especially because that tool's been acting up. And, yeah, it's going to take forever. Alright, everybody. I removed the insulation in there. I cut away the 2x4. Drilled my 4 corner holes. And now it's jigsaw time. So let's get it. Ooh. This thing is a jumpy little guy. That's that one. Now we're going up. Oh, that's tiring. All right, let's get this last one. Hopefully I'm not killing anybody's ears by working this tool and recording, but gotta get it done. All right, here we go. Last one. The blade came off. I don't think I'm putting this thing in properly, maybe, but it's very hot. Let's go ahead and get her installed. Maybe I'm not pulling it down all the way. All right, let's try this again. We're gonna get this. Let's start from this way. This is a little difficult. Almost there. In fact, we're almost there. I almost fell. But that's the hole. Whew. Oh. All right, that was tiring.
All right, there's a hole.
I just need to trim a little bit off this top corner right here.
Okay. Do you want me to hold the window?
No, the window is gonna be good right where it's at. Actually, I need to trim this bottom corner. That's what I gotta do. So let me get that and let me trim that.
Look at up here.
Just a tad bit.
View.
It's a little bit short. All right, here we go. So that means I have to just trim all the way across. Let's get it. All right, now looks like I might need to trim a little tiny bit off the top half, literally just the tiniest bit off the top. And make sure, oh, look at that. She goes in. Perfect.
Look at that.
We're good.
Good job.
All right, everybody. I've just finished up building out the frame and the inside, the window seal. It took quite some time because I have that broken piece, but now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to silicone the living schmuck out of this, and then I'm going to screw it in. So I shall get up here, make sure I got my screws in order, and my screw gun right there. All right, I'm gonna silicone this. Unfortunately, I'm not doing flashing or nothing, but you know what? These windows will be getting trim and all that, so there's gonna be like double support on silicone. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cake it on, baby. That's the goal. And with doing that, I should be able to get a nice seal. And then when I put the trim on, what's gonna happen is that the trim is gonna get a nice silicone also. And then that'll be sealed also, you know. Pretty good, right? Yes, yes. So, very good, very good. Almost ready for an install. All right, that's a nice caking right there. All right, can you grab that, please? Thank you. All right, now that she's on, I'll put her in her place. I'll show you guys the frame. I did build the windowsill out, so that's gonna look pretty good. Pretty jazzy, as they would say, some say. Just gotta make sure that she wants to fit in her groove right there. All right, now that silicone has taken place, I gotta get her nice and centered right there. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and screw her in. This ladder looks dangerous, but it feels quite firm. So I'm kind of proud of that. All right, here's one screw. Here's another screw. Yes, ma'am. And all that screw's doing is making sure that silicone is staying tight, which is what we want. That's nice and tight. Last screw. Okay, that one looks like it hit a crack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it out. Ooh, and I'm just gonna go off with this one because this one's gonna hit a. Alright, I can see that silicone mushing out. That's like a party. We also have this nice eave right here just sticking over. So I don't think we'll have an issue. And with that being said, this window is done. I'll show you guys the frame on the inside. Let me go grab this ladder. Get it out. All right, everybody, that's the window. Cuts are a little rough, but don't forget that there is always going to be trim. I got the frame, the window frame all put in. What I'm going to do is with all these window frames is I'm going to get a shiplap. I'll be cutting out one of these little sections, and that's going to be fitting all up in there like that. And then there's going to be a trim that's going to be going around all the rough cuts. But anyways, bathroom windows put in. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any concerns or anything, go ahead and put them down in the comments. But we'll see you guys on the next one.